What is Tom Bombadil? A look at one of the greatest mysteries of Middle-earth. For starters, Tom Bombadil is a character in The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, the book. He is the first person that the four hobbits run into when they are leaving the Shire. We see that he is capable of strange powers, and that these abilities of his are dissimilar to any other character throughout the series, and that the tone of this character is very different from the rest of the book. Tom Bombadil is a character who is rarely seen in any of the adaptations outside of the book. Those who have read the books know that he is a significant character in the world of Ea, but who or what he is goes unexplained, even by the author Tolkien. He is among the first companions the hobbits gain on their journey. He possesses abilities that go widely unexplained, and he seems to be an oddity within the story. First, I would like to go over a description of the character and his actions. Then we can compare this character to similar entities within the story. Third, I'll put forth my own theory and substantiate it with connections to other materials concerning the world of Ea. We'll look at the actions of these characters and how other characters within the story describe him. Then we'll look at other references that are made to him, and we'll look at how this changes our understanding of the literature. Tom lives in the woods of the Shire. He lives with his wife Goldberry. He speaks and sings naturally in meter and in lyrics. He tends to care very little to what happens in the world of Middle-earth, and it is seen that he can bestow clairvoyant dreams. Tom lives in Buckland, later known as the Eastmarch. He is one of the first people that the four hobbits encounter on their journey, and he shows up as a friend. Tom's actions demonstrate that he is somehow tied to the very forces which govern the land. The relation he has is never elaborated upon in detail. He lives with his wife Goldberry, who is the Lady of the River, or River Daughter. He clearly has great power, but he doesn't care to use them. When the four hobbits sleep in his house, they are given clairvoyant dreams, a power which no other entity has within the world. He is known as the Master of Wood, Water, and Hill. He sings to Old Man Willow to keep his evil in check. He is clearly not influenced by the power of the One Ring, and he does not care to leave his territory. Tom is noted as being master of wood, water, and hill. This is interesting, as his wife is the River Daughter, and Tom is known to sing to the water lilies in an unfamiliar language. He is first shown to have power over the land when he frees the four hobbits from Old Man Willow by singing to him. He then explains that he keeps that evil in check by singing. Upon meeting, Tom notes that Frodo possesses the One Ring forged by Sauron. When Tom is handed the ring and puts it on, he shows that he is not influenced by the ring. He does not turn invisible as the ring should have done, and in fact tosses the ring up in the air and makes it disappear and then reappear at will. Whatever he is clearly not a power to be trifled with. Tom notes that he was old even in the elder days. Glorfindel notes he is the last and he was the first. He was even considered to be one of the protectors of the One Ring. The dwarves call him Forn, meaning Ancient of Days. The elves called him Iarwen Benadar, which translates to oldest and fatherless. Tom refers to himself in the third person. He notes that he was old even when the world was first made, which may tell us that he is the oldest person in the world by far. He says, "Eldest, that's what I am." Tom remembers the first raindrop and the first acorn, and that he knew the dark under the stars when it was fearless, before the Dark Lord came from the outside. When the elves passed westward, Tom was already there. The elf Glorfindel says, if ever Sauron were to regain the One Ring, Tom would be the last to fall. He was considered to be a protector of the One Ring, but this was decided against. He cared so little of the ring that he could easily lose it and not care. The dwarves knew that he was older than anything else they knew, so they called him Forn, meaning Ancient of Days. However, the elves may have known more about him. The elves called him Iarwen Benedar, which translates to oldest and fatherless. This is important that he is called fatherless, as we will see in a moment. Tom is not a known race of Middle-earth, and he is beholden to no one and nothing. Tom is notably not a member of a known race. He is shorter than a man, but taller than a dwarf. He owes allegiance to no governing body or any powers of heaven. When other characters discuss him, he is treated as a wild card. He answers to no one and cannot be trusted to cooperate at all times. To narrow down our speculation, we must compare him to other powers of the world of Middle-earth. He is not of the Maiar. A Maia can be described as an angelic being. They are the servants of the Valar. Some noted members of the Maiar are Gandalf, Saruman, Sauron, Gothmog, the Lord of Balrogs, and the Balrog Durin's Bane. These are all powerful entities, but we know Tom is not one of them. This is because he remains so unaffected and apathetic about Sauron's ring, where even Gandalf and Saruman were heavily tempted by it. Whatever Tom is, he remains above even these powers. He is not also among the Valar. To explain, the Valar are demigods who helped to shape the world into existence. Tom does have some resemblance to the Valar. They use the music of their divine instruments to create the world in harmony, just as Tom has power in singing. However, all of the Valar are named and accounted for, and Tom is not one of them. The lords of the Valar are Manwë, Ulmo, Orome, Namo, Irmo, Tulkas, and Melkor. Now Morgoth, he who rises in power. He is not Eru Ilúvatar. Eru created the Valar, but he is not among them. Eru created Ea, but he never entered into it. And Tom has little interest in the goings-on of the world. To explain, Eru means the One, and Ilúvatar means All-Father. He is effectively God over all the world and the powers. Tolkien stated that if Tom were God, it would be too close to being like his own Christian faith, which it is not. If Tom were God, it would leave us wondering why he didn't just fix everything right there and then, rather than showing such apathy. It is also obvious where it is said that Eru is the All-Father, whereas Tom is fatherless. This does make us wonder how Tom could be fatherless unless he was not created by Eru. What is Tom Bombadil? There are only theories. Let me tell you my theories about the character. Some extra materials we could look into are other books by Tolkien outside of The Lord of the Ring and The Hobbit, such as The Silmarillion, The Children of Húrin, The Unfinished Tales, and The Adventures of Tom Bombadil. According to the Book of Lost Tales, Morgoth was the first Valar to enter Arda, and that Tom was there first, and is therefore not of the Valar. The Adventures of Tom Bombadil is a series of poems told by hobbits. Some of the material is written by Tom. By this account, hobbits are the only people who have stories of Tom, and may be the only people to record his songs. This is an important part of my theory. Tom is never mentioned in the Silmarillion or other complementing literature. The hobbits are never mentioned outside of the Lord of the Ring books or the Hobbit book. There seems to be a special connection between Tom and the Hobbit race. These are very strange facts to face, as the Silmarillion tells of the creation of the world from nothing, all the way to the beginning of the Third Age. It tells of the awakening of the elves, the creation and destruction of the two trees, the creation, war, and loss of the Silmarils, the creation of the dwarves, the creation of men, the fall of Numenor, and many other important details. Both Tom and the hobbits are omitted from these tales. Any one of these theories could be true without the other two, and any two of these theories could be true without the other one, or all three could be true. Theory number 1. Tom is the father of the Hobbit race, protects them, and uses them to keep the world safe. Tom's location and powers are a key strategy in watching over his people, the hobbits. He keeps out any danger and remains unpersuaded by and refuses to negotiate with outside forces. He refuses to leave his territory and is master of all around him as a means of protecting his children. 2. Tom and Goldberry are a copy of the music of the Ainur to be used as protection and restoration. When the Ainur played the music to create the world, a backup file was created in case the original ever fell. As was noted, Tom would be the last to fall if ever Sauron regained full powers. He sings, speaks in meter, and influences others around him to sing with ease. He would also be instrumental in the event called Dagor Dagorath, which is the end of the world, when Morgoth would finally be vanquished for good, and a new Ea formed of the new music of the Ainur. Theory 3. Tom is a next-door neighbor of Eru Ilúvatar, who is helping him with his project. Tom saw his friend and neighbor Eru creating the Ainu of his thoughts. He knew his plan and decided to silently slip in, save a backup copy of the music, and create the hobbits to be used as a proverbial spanner in the works. No force of Ea could guess their abilities because they were not children of Eru, but of Tom. In conclusion, we may be able to speculate the following. Tom is one of the most powerful entities in the world, so he is not particularly interested in its fate. Conclusion number 2 is that Tom and his wife are amongst the most important people in the world, so they're not particularly bothered when kingdoms around them rise and fall. And the third conclusion is that Tom is as powerful as God, Eru. He did not ask permission to enter into the world of Ea, but he knew that his friend Eru needed help in completing the project. Those are my theories. That is the stated evidence, and those are my conclusions. Thank you for your time.